So from an agenda, we'll jump through EPM, neurons for MDM, productivity apps, compliance, EPMM, tunnel, Sentry, and access. So we've got a packed agenda. We'll see how much we can get covered. Feel free to put your questions in the chat, and we will follow them up. If we don't answer them during the middle of the session, we will answer them at the end in the chat, so we can take them live then. From an EPM viewpoint, we have really two big things that we're working on here. One is product security. Our primary goal with all products is to make sure that they're very secure, that they have all of the modern capabilities of being secured, that they're patched, that the vulnerabilities are removed. And as you guys heard Jeff talk, last year about making sure that we, secure the products, remove entire classes of vulnerabilities, and make sure that we're following that. That is a big piece for us in the EPM world. We know it's a workhorse for all of us out there to do endpoint management. And so product security and modernizing those is a big piece. From an update viewpoint, we have 2024 SU1 and 2022 SU5 are scheduled for the Q2. So we're very excited to be releasing an update for both of the branches at the time. As you know, there is still enhancements that we're putting in. We're updating the web console, updating the agent and the EPS agent capabilities, dark core patching. There's some enhancements we're putting in there. And as we look through the rest of the year, we are taking customer enhancements requests. We're very in tune. We're watching the AHA boards or the user ideas, making sure that we are tracking what things you guys are out there voting on, and that we're bringing that to us. And with that, security will always be a key component. So support for the latest OSs as we watch Windows continue to change and update. The support with the latest CSPs, the modern management, and our agent being tested and running on Windows 11 24H2, Windows Server 2025, Mac OS 15 Sequoia, and the Ubuntu 2404. We are working to make sure that those are updated and supported, and all of those updates will be in the latest capability. As we talk about the web console continues to grow in usage. There was a few actions that customers were pushing for us, the ability to run inventory scans, to be able to get to every detail in the information. We want to be able to make sure that we add all of that in, and that is coming out in this latest release. So we're excited to see and continue to push that. As we see imaging continued strongly, we see a lot of customers using the provisioning tools. One of the things that we're been asked for is, hey, give us native action of BitLocker. Yes, you've been able to support it, but make it a native capability. Put in all of the items, so it's super easy for us to be run and use inside of the provisioning template. That is coming in. We have turn on and off, drive, encryption type, bypass, where to store the key, where to put this recovery keys, etc. So we're excited to see the native BitLocker support coming. And now we've also added in the long-term sustaining for 2024 in the EPM patch for Office. This is a new patch scanning. So if you're running the Office 2024 LTSC, then you have that capability. While we're talking about patch, one of the things that is constant push is to reduce the number of reboots. So we've enhanced the reboot settings in the reboots to allow you to suppress the number of them. So as you have multiple reboots after a software, we want to make sure that we get that down to the minimal or the fewest number of reboots possible. And we have enhanced this capability. You will find that you'll get less prompts for reboots. So a lot of capabilities coming there in the reboot.
So in general, for Q2 2025, we're going to cover neurons for MDM and also the various capabilities coming up on the EPMM. So overall, we are trying to deliver a powerful set of updates across Android, Apple, and Windows platforms designed to simplify admin workflows, strengthen security, and enhance end user experiences. Essentially, for Q2, we are investing into the streamlined admin experiences, modern Android and iOS support, of course, the Apple platform enhancements, which I'll be talking about, Windows enhancements, and email plus improvements, and core and cloud transition and compliance parts. To start with, we'll start with the neurons for admin experience. So in Q2, we are focusing.
Did you hit full screen mode, or is it sharing full screen on your other screen?
Yeah, I think it's full screen is really giving me hard time. That's why it's just hanging in there for a long time.
No.
That's why I was like, I tried it. It keeps going on and on and on. It says almost there.
Oh, I
It's
appreciate the
there.
messages. There we go. There we go. We're on our way.
I think it's got better. Thank you. All right. So for Q2, we are focusing on enhancing the admin experience across device management, user management, and the admin console. Some of our key capabilities include improved compliance messaging, where clearer and more actionable out of compliance messages aligned with system policies to help admins quickly identify and resolve policy breaches, sorry, and my devices portal enhancements. This is where addressing current limitations by expanding support beyond 500 devices for better scalability and usability, and also supporting IPv6 on the cloud connector, basically enabling IPv6 compatibility to future-proof connectivity and support diverse enterprise network environments. The other one is API implementation. This is basically we are making sure to add additional APIs that can be leveraged publicly. But before that, we do a lots of performance testing to make sure that those APIs are not causing any trouble to your systems or our systems, and then publish it so you can leverage those new APIs as they come in. This is the overall 4Q roadmap. I spoke about the Q2, and there are some spikes in this sheet. You can see that we are trying to do some research around how do we, report apps installed by device. Also, can we schedule a configuration rollout and distribution? So some of those we are trying to do some research and likely have the implementations coming across the future releases. All right, let's talk about MTD. So for MTD, we have Lookout and ZIMPM, as you know, that we support both. So for Lookout, for Q2, we have integrated the latest Lookout SDK to ensure up-to-date security and threat detection capabilities. And also, we also made sure that we have the Android Target SDK 35 readiness, which is basically preparing the platform for Android SDK 35 to ensure compliance with the Google's latest platform requirements and maintain app compatibility and performances. Also, of course, we also make sure that the day zero support for iOS and Android updates also are taken care in Q2. As many of you may aware of that iOS, Apple usually have a spring release coming up in Q2, and also Android also started 2 releases per year this year. So with that, Android 16 is in tests and ready for getting ready to GA soon. So we are making sure that we're following those updates, and also our clients and with MTD, we're all aligned with the day zero support. With Zimperium, again, same thing, the latest is SDK integration to make sure that we are all up-to-date security and threat detection capabilities. And same with the Android Target SDK 35 support. Day zero also. Along with that, we also have the version 5 console support and tenant migration. This is basically facilitating migration to the latest V5 console for improved UI UX and also future feature alignments that Zimperium is providing. So this is our 4-quarter roadmap that's coming up. In Q3, there is more coming in, wherein iOS shortcuts and iOS field to identify third party, and also we're working on a smishing protection, a bunch of new enhancements that we are working on, which you will be seeing more and more as we move into the future releases and quarters. All right. So we'll move on to this is the Lookout 4Q, and sorry for the delay. Here's the Imperium 4Q roadmap. So there's a lot coming up with MTD, and I believe Q3 and Q4 is going to be much more interesting as we take up more and more new capabilities that are very exciting. All right. Talking about the Android Q2. So here for Q2 Android, to meet growing customer expectations for advanced capabilities in COBO and frontline deployments, we are enhancing in Neurons from MDM Android experience with the following key capabilities, such as one, the Android segregated storage. This is going to be a beta release, which is basically introducing improved shared kiosk support to address long-standing storage isolation issues that we'll be working on. And that's something any customer who is interested can reach out to us, and we'll be enabling the beta for the Android segregated storage that you can test. And this quarter, essentially, we're focusing on the beta feedback and followed by the GA in the upcoming release. Then the other one is a FIDO authentication. Adding secure FIDO options during initial registration to enhance device authentication and onboarding. And again, there is a Samsung KME, which is currently it's internal dev only, but we are doing in progress the research and the implementation in progress. Again, we might be doing a beta based on the implementation that we do here. Currently, it's not going to be customer facing yet, but just to let you know, as it is exciting that is coming, we are working on Samsung KME integration and also the Google Better Together stories. Android auto cleanup enhancements, improving cleanup behavior for better device hygiene and policy enforcement. And the speed-based control is basically enabling device behavior adjustments based on speed to support safe mobile use in motion. So we have a setting where the admin can actually set if the speed is beyond so-and-so number, you will not have access to certain capabilities and app installs, and some of the apps wouldn't even work. So there are a bunch of controls that you can manage. For the Go app, badge notifications, this is for the Go client. We are providing a badge alert in kiosk settings for better user awareness and interaction with Ivanti Go. And there is a Pendo SDK is basically that's an internal. Sorry, I could have just updated that. Offering details, tunnel logs. This is basically we are offering detailed VPN tunnel logs within Neurons for MDM for better diagnostics and troubleshooting, which similar to the other clients, admin can actually pull those logs also from the vice versa, right? You can pull from the tunnel and make sure you're actually putting into the Neurons for MDM, and the admin is able to look into those logs without having to interrupt any end user. So there doesn't have to be any end user interaction. Then we have Android Day Zero compatibility. This is again making sure that all of the Ivanti Neurons for MDM and Ivanti Go apps are fully capable and compatible with Android 16 on the launch day. Then we also have a 5G slicing. This is basically for Apple, we have the 5G slicing enabled on the Neurons for MDM. And this release, we're also enabling the 5G slicing for the Android side of the devices as well, where admin can actually choose to put the devices on a specific slices on a specific network bandwidth that they choose to. So this is also very exciting. A lot of customers are looking forward for it, and this is going to be available with the Q2 release. So all these updates reflect, the focus on the security, usability, and feature ready with Android support. So moving on to Chrome OS, currently, whatever we have, the MVP that is there. So we haven't added any new enhancements on this for this quarter, but anything new, we'll let you guys know in the future. This is our 4Q roadmap in general, so we'll be talking more about our Q3 releases and Q4 in the upcoming meetings that we're going to do. And we talk about the iOS and Apple platforms. All right. So there are various new settings and improvements that we have added into the Apple, which is basically restrictions around macOS 15, macOS 18.3, and also restrictions around macOS 15.4 and 18.4. So a lot of restrictions that can be leveraged with the new release that is coming up. And talking about this Apple beta program. So this is the app. Yeah. So, all right. Yeah, Apple Beta Program is a setup assistant. Apple Beta Program in Setup Assist and device declarative management status is applicable for iOS 17 and macOS 14 and above. To help organizations safely adopt new Apple OS versions, Ivanti is introducing enhanced controls in the software update settings. So these controls allow IT admins to manage access to Apple's beta programs across iOS and macOS devices. What are the benefits out of it, right? So basically, the benefits are control testing, where you can ensure OS compatibility with enterprise apps and workflows before you can roll out, and flexible configuration options. Again, allowed is basically the default option where users may enroll with their own development credentials, while always off, and there is another option called always on. So always off blocks users from accessing beta builds, and always on is basically devices are auto enrolled or assigned a specific beta version by the admin, wherein admins can configure settings per platform, either iOS or macOS, and based off their version. So basically, this feature gives IT full control over beta adoption, ensuring stable, secure device management and better ensure experiences during OS transitions. Then we have iOS 18.2 set default browser. This is again with iOS 18.2, where it allows administrators to configure default browser settings, aligning with user experience and organizational policies. macOS login window configuration. This is basically adds configuration options for macOS login window behavior to support enterprise access and security needs. So with this, those are the key capabilities I was talking about, but there are more actually in Q2. So for example, there's a predicate testing. This is basically enables test declarations to validate conditional logic before deployment. This is part of the device declarative management. Also, there is the system logging payload, where it introduces a logging payload for macOS to assist with system level troubleshooting and diagnostics. Also, we have dynamic restrictions configurations, where introduces a backend system for managing Apple restrictions configurations more flexibly, and also external intelligence workspace integration that comes with 18.3 and macOS 15.3, where it enables integration with the transcription summaries and external intelligence workspace for deeper insight. So a lot of new restrictions, as I showed earlier. So a lot going on the Apple as well. So again, for Q3, we'll be well prepared with the Apple Day Zero support and many more new capabilities coming up, which we'll be talking in our future meetings again. All right. Coming to the Windows roadmap. So we'll talk about a couple of new capabilities, which is bulk user assignment for Windows device enrollment. So here, to simplify large-scale Windows device deployments, Ivanti is enhancing its bulk enrollment feature by introducing bulk user assignment. What are the key highlights, right? Basically, automated user mapping, where admins can now upload a file to automatically assign enrolled devices to the correct users during bulk enrollment. And streamlined workflow eliminates the need for manual reassignment post-enrollment, saving time and reducing errors. Also, the cross-platform consistency. So this functionality already exists for other operating systems and is now extended to Windows as well. So this basically updates and ensures a smoother, more scalable onboarding process for enterprise Windows devices while maintaining consistency across the platforms. Windows eSIM configuration for Windows 11. So here again, Ivanti is introducing eSIM configuration support, enabling organizations to remotely set up cellular connectivity without requiring physical SIM cards. Again, the capabilities are carrier-based setup, where admins can configure devices using a server URL provided by the mobile carrier. Automated profile activation. Once the profile is installed, the device connects to the specified server URL to activate the eSIM. Also, the bulk configuration support, where customers can upload a file containing device information for streamlined deployment. And last but not least is the carrier coordination required, where customers must work with their carriers to gather server URL and other provisioning details. Again, this enhancement simplifies a mobile connectivity setup for Windows devices, particularly beneficial for remote first or mobile heavy workforces. This is the 4-part roadmap. Again, for Q2, I talked about the bulk assignment and also I talked about the eSIM support. The other two items here are the MSI product code warning during import. This is basically to prevent configuration conflicts. Ivanti now includes a checkbox option to warn admins when importing MSI files that contain duplicate or conflicting product codes. This helps ensure cleaner deployments and reduces troubleshooting caused by overlapping installations. The other one is the update ADMX template for Windows 11. This is basically Ivanti has updated its ADMX policy templates to align with the latest Windows 11 24H2 release. This ensures compatibility with the newest Windows group policy settings, allowing admins to manage and enforce modern device configurations seamlessly. So that's about the Windows. And let's see. All right. It's coming back to, again, Apple, but on the EPMM platform. So to start with, the restrictions, again, you see pretty much we are making sure that both Neurons for MDM and EPMM has the same pretty much close capabilities that we add into, especially when it comes to the Apple table stakes. We do make sure that both the platforms has the same capabilities added in. So I'll not go deeper into any of these restrictions. All of these are available. The release note says, what each of these restrictions and policies are going to help with. You'll be able to leverage with our Q2 release. Let's talk about the macOS 15 disk permission management. So Ivanti introduces new disk access control settings in macOS 15 to help organizations manage and secure data access from external network storage sources. The key capabilities that we're talking about is external storage control and network storage control. For external storage control, admins can now define access permissions for USB or other external devices. And for network storage control, granular control over access to network-based file shares or mounted drives. We do give some of the options. The configurable options for both is basically allowed, which gives full read-write access. Read-only is access limited or to view only. And disallowed, of course, to completely block the access. So these new settings provide enhanced data protection and policy enforcement for macOS devices, particularly in regulated or high security environments. All right, this is the same again for the iOS set default browser. That is something that we did talk about in the Neurons for MDM, where we could allow setting up the default browser applicable for the EPMM as well. Okay, this is interesting. Ability to run macOS scripts without the Mac agent. So no agent is required starting macOS 15 plus with Ivanti now supports script deployment on macOS 15 plus devices without needing a Mac agent or client leveraging Apple's declarative management. So what are the capabilities here are agentless script execution. Basically, you can push and run scripts directly on managed devices using declarative management. Again, you have a new scripts tab where admin can upload, create, and manage scripts in a dedicated UI section. Also, declarative management support, where scripts are delivered through modern device declarative management framework for real-time, efficient management. And the admin options include script name and description. You can mention the script type, like whether you want a shell script or other type of scripts. Root level execution toggle, also built-in script editor. So this new capability simplifies macOS automation and extends powerful scripting capabilities across the fleet without requiring additional software installation. So I'm sure whoever is using Mac, it is pretty exciting news of not having to depend specifically on the agent, but agentless, you will be able to use this powerful mechanism of script deployment now. All right, so the next one we're talking about is the custom web clip deep link to app catalog. To support a smooth transition from the legacy AppSet work web clip, Ivanti now allows customer to create a deploy custom web clip on iOS that directly deep links into the app catalog within the Ivanti Go app. So what are the benefits for this is basically customizable web clips where customers can define the name and icon of the web clip to match their brand or user preferences, preserves user experience, offers an alternative to the deprecated AppSet work web clip, ensuring continuity for end users. Also, the self-managed and flexible, where customers can create and manage their own web clips and distribute them using EPMM. Streamlined access, one-tap access from the home screen directly into the app catalog for faster app discovery and deployment. So this is again a usability feature which helps with the transition from the web clip to the native apps network or the app catalog. Other than that, there are a few more. The ones that I talked about are the key capabilities I talked about, but there are a bunch more coming up. Same as the Neurons for MDM, we have external intelligence and transcription summary, where offers enhanced visibility and device activity and usage with integration with Apple's external intelligence and transcription capabilities. Again, new OS restrictions for iOS 18.4 and macOS 15.4. Then we talked about the default browser setting. We also talked about the deep link. The other one is the device retirement via compliance actions, which allows automatically retire non-compliant iOS devices based on policy, improving security posture and automation. Then for the macOS side, we have some of the SSO enhancements where Kerberos support expanded configuration option for single sign-on using Kerberos. Then we also have on the platform SSO, broader integration of Apple's native single sign-on experience. And for screen lock behavior, we're extending SSO behavior to device lock unlock workflows for seamless user sessions. Then we're talking about background scripts via declarative management, enable agentless scripts that we already talked about, then disk management settings. We're adding a policy-based control for across to external and network storage, and the reject support for password policy, where we allow it basically allows a use of regular expression to enforce complex and customized passwords requirements. So that's more about the Apple new capabilities that are coming up in Q2 and much more coming up in Q3 and Q4. So we'll be talking more about the upcoming capabilities in our next meeting. Then so I'll skip the app management because there are a couple of capabilities that we are working and still in research. So we'll be talking more in our upcoming releases. So okay, Manoj, I'll just finish the Android and then I'll hand it off to you, Manoj, so you can talk about the admin experience and the productivity apps and partner device compliance.
Sure.
Thank you. Sorry, guys. Just moving forward. I'll let Manoj talk about the productivity apps and other features. It's sorry to scroll through this way. It's super slow in moving. All right. So Android on the EPMM. So Ivanti continues to evolve EPMM to support modern Android capabilities and enterprise requirements. Some of our key updates include Android Day Zero support, like any other platforms, any other products. We make sure that Android Day Zero is compatible, no issues. So that's in plan, anyways. Then there is a Android new releases. Whenever there are new releases, we make sure on the EPMM, both on the Apple and Android, there is a DPU updates to reflect the new versions and the new device models in the EPMM. So that is also in place. Then there is authorization token is something that it's a request from the customers to our internal support teams that to debug some of the issues we had to implement a token, authorization token. So that is also in place, but that probably not applicable directly to the customers though, but it's going to help our support to work well with our customers. So that's more about the Android, but there is more coming up in our Q3 and Q4 releases. So we again are doing our research on the eSIM integration. Then we are also doing our research on the Samsung KME integration. So as we continuously do those researches on neurons for MDM and EPMM, we're also making sure, as you see, both on the neurons for MDM and EPMM, we are bringing in pretty much the same capabilities. So hang in there, and we'll be talking more about our Q3 and Q4 in our upcoming meetings as well. So with that, I'll stop sharing and I'll hand it off to Manoj, who will be talking about the EPMM admin experience, productivity apps, and also about the partner device compliance.
I will also talk about app management because Alna mentioned that there was some dependency on Apple, but I got a latest update from the team that it is resolved, and I think we are confident to make these features available. So I'll also talk a bit about app management first, and then I'll jump to productivity apps. I hope I'm sharing my screen and you are able to see my screen.
Yes, so you can see your screen.
On app management side, we are rolling out the support for Apple Watch in Q2. So like any other platform, you will be able to manage all the WatchOS app through our app management feature, through the app management, like distributing the WatchOS app, updating the WatchOS apps, all these functionalities that you do with the other apps like iOS. So you should be able to manage all your Apple WatchOS apps with the Neurons for MDM app management. There are a bunch of interesting enhancements we are doing in Q2. The first one, we are migrating to the V2 API for this apps and books management. And so there were a couple of reports that we got from some customers that when you do the on-demand update of the apps, at some places it is failing. It is not doing the right comparison, even though the version on the device is not latest. So as you can see here, we expect that this V2 enablement should solve this issue, because in V2, Apple has recommended to us to use the external version identifier for app version comparison. And we believe that by using this particular identifier for app version comparison, it will properly detect whether the app needs update or not, and it should update the things seamlessly. So that's something new that you will see in app management. And if you have any feedback related to it, please pass it down to us. Oh, all right. Productivity apps. So the major release is coming out in this particular month. In fact, the beta is already out, where we are updating Email Plus to support Azure conditional access. Like Outlook, you can configure the Email Plus along with the Azure conditional access. So if your device is not compliant, the Email Plus will be blocked from accessing the email. If it is compliant, obviously it will be allowed to access the emails, same like Outlook. So it's a major release which is coming out where we are migrating from Microsoft ADAL library to MSAL library. We already rolled out a beta for this in last week. There are a bunch of actions that customer has to take. First, they have to ensure that their Sentry version is above 9.20 or above. If you are China customers, then you have to ensure that your Sentry version should be about 10.1 and above. So it's a major release coming up. Along with that, we have a feature to select the photo size for attachment, where you will be able to select the size for attachment. Then we are giving support to view the attachments in a full screen mode uh, in landscape view on iPad devices. Um, and there are a bunch of improvements we are doing in view in UI related to the add attachments or view attachments in the calendar invites. So previously you were not able to add the attachments into the calendar invites whenever you're sending any meeting invites, but now you should be able to add the invite, add the attachments in the calendar invites also. Ability to search a specific folder, like if you are using a large number of folders in your mailboxes, it's very difficult for you to locate the folder or move some specific emails to specific folder. So we are solving that problem by giving a search option which will help you to easily locate a specific folder. So that's about Email Plus and Android. Partner conditional access. So we are working with Microsoft on supporting this core to cloud migration on with partner conditional access enabled. So here our use case is that the partner compliance should work properly on the EPMM and neurons for MDM also. Once the customers start migrating to the uh, neurons for MDM from their existing EPMM server. So this is going on. I think we have made a lot of good progress, but I don't think this will be part of the Q2 release. At this moment, we are 90% confident on this. So we are keeping a watch on this right now. Then the device compliance for Mac. So this is coming on EPMM side in Q2. Like iOS and Android devices, you will be also able to report device compliance posture of Mac or Mac devices to the EPMM. I'll skip this. Okay, so now I'll talk about the EPMM admin experience. The first feature is to deny devices, implicitly deny the devices added by device and platform operate. So use case here is that we keep on adding the devices, newer device platforms to our list. And some customers they have some configuration where they only allow that particular devices to be used in their organizations, which have been properly verified and validated from their security team. So unless and until they don't do that, they don't allow any specific device which is newly added or new OS platform which is newly added into the allowed list. So we are doing some changes here to address this, where we'll be giving the control to the admin to select whether he wants to add the any newer device and platform models into allowed list or not. If we say yes, it will be added into allowed list. But if we say no, then it will be added to the disallowed list, and then admin can, after their complete verification of that device or platforms, they can add that into the allowed list. That's um, there's some couple of user experience enhancement we're doing when customer performs restore process. We are improving a messaging there with detailed status of uh, at what stage the restore is right now, and so that customer will be able to identify whether the restore is complete or not, at what stage it is right now. So that is coming. Yeah, I think that's all about this partner conditional access, app management,